Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Voyager class Scourge from the Transformers Studio Series 86. Very excited to check out this guy. I've been really waiting for a proper Scourge figure for a while. We've had a few recently. We had one in Titan's Return, which was okay. We had one in Gold Box where they made him into like a stealth bomber, which was okay. But I'm just looking for a definitive movie cartoon accurate Scourge that looks good, transforms well, and doesn't have a ton of kibble. So we'll see if this one can hit the mark and finally give me what I've been looking for. But here's some artwork here on the side. Pretty much the same artwork here over on this side. And like I've been saying with these, they all have 86 as the main number, and then you can see his sub number is 05 because 86 is kind of a subline of the Studio series since they're all from the 1986 Transformers the movie. Excellent movie, by the way. If you've never seen it, definitely recommend checking it out. And I think it's kind of neat. I didn't notice this till just now. Instead of an Autobot symbol, they have the 86 up here, which I think is kind of a nice touch. And then you can see the robot mode, the vehicle mode. So very, very cool. I'm excited for this one. I'm going to go ahead, get him out of the box, and we're going to take a closer look. So here is Scourge with the little diorama display piece that he comes with. And once again, they've absolutely crushed it. This is an absolutely fantastic background. You can see this is the part in the movie. Again, spoilers if you haven't seen it, you definitely should. Where Unicron remakes, I believe, I want to say Skywarp, Thundercracker. It's never 100% sure. But one of them he remakes into Scourge. And then you can see that Kickback and Shrapnel here get remade into Sweep Subordinates. So I guess technically if you wanted to pick up a couple of these guys, you could have them be his army of sweeps because from what I can remember, they're virtually indistinguishable from each other. I'm pretty sure all three of them look exactly the same. And I think even in the cartoon, in the show, he had more than two henchmen. So it was like a whole army of sweeps and they all looked exactly the same. So again, you could pick up a couple of these, but I absolutely love this backdrop. I think it looks fantastic. I'm really happy it's included. So here is Scourge out of the packaging, and I will say in robot mode, he looks very good. I think he does look pretty cool. He's got a little bit of kibble here on the back for the wings. It's not ideal, but it's not absolutely terrible. I feel like this is just one of those characters that it's very much like RC, where he's just destined to be a shell former because of the alt mode and the way it just kind of completely covers up the robot mode and they can't really do much else with them, and it's kind of a shame. But I will say that I think they really nailed the robot mode. I think it looks very good. We'll take a close-up look at this head sculpt. I think they did a really nice job with that. The goatee looks fantastic. The eyes are nicely painted. The Decepticon symbol on the chest looks really good. Now, I will say in the packaging, he does come with this thing turned around like this. But the directions do show that you're supposed to have it like that in the robot mode. So the larger piece should be facing forward. But it's a really nice head sculpt. I think they did a nice job. Head's on a ball joint so you can rock side to side, spin side to side, front to back. Really nice there. Shoulder, nice hinge and rotation. No problems there. You do have a bicep swivel you can see there. And then you have just slightly over 90 degrees in the elbow. You do have a wrist rotation as well. You have a waist rotation right there. For the hip, you can go all the way, well, not quite all the way to the front, but pretty close. You can go pretty far back until you hit the wings. You kick all the way out to the side. You do have a thigh swivel, even though it's kind of hidden there. It's actually apparent here in the back. You can kind of see it right there. You do have 90 degrees, maybe slightly more than 90 degree bend in the knee. And then you do have an ankle tilt as well. So pretty much all the articulation you would like to see in a figure this size. And he pulls it off well. And like I said, the wings are okay. I like the look of the wings in this area. It's just this piece down here that I'm not a huge fan of. But when you think about like bat wings or like, I think of like gargoyles or like, you know, demon wings or something, they do kind of have that kind of shape to them. So it's not terrible. Maybe if they could have just rounded them a little more, you can see they kind of tried to do it a little bit. So it's not the worst. And they kind of have some articulation. They can kind of flap in and out here. You can see that there is a hinge right there. Now you can, if you would really want to, make them go a little bit flatter. You can see that there is a tab and a tab spot right here and here. So that's meant to kind of tab in there to hold that back panel in place, and then you bend it like that. But if you really want to extend them out a little bit further, you can. And that panel is not going to fly out of place if you do that. So you have a little bit of room to maneuver that there. I will say, though, that the feet, these little toes here, which they flip under for the robot mode, they feel a little hollow or kind of cheap. And when I'm trying to like push down on his foot to get him to do the ankle tilt, they just kind of move around a little bit too much. It's a stupid thing to complain about, but it's just another one of those cases where I feel like the ankle tilt is hidden, and I have to, instead of kind of just naturally like applying a little bit of pressure to get it to bend there, I have to purposely pick it up and move it manually and then put him back down. Which is, again, a kind of stupid thing to complain about, but not all the figures are like that, and I feel like you can kind of naturally move some of the others to get into the positions you want. Plus, because he's got all of these wings, he's a little back heavy. So sometimes that makes finding a pose a little difficult to kind of give him a natural pose so he doesn't fall over. But there we go. He does come with one accessory. He has this gun, which is pretty basic, but I think it looks good. It does also have a peg on the side, as well as the peg down here for him to hold. So if you want him to just go ahead and hold that in his hand. And then he does come with this effect piece, which is a little warped from the packaging, unfortunately, because this middle piece here is kind of thin, and that's how it was bent in the packaging. But I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be. It's like, I don't know. It's just a weird... It doesn't necessarily look like a laser beam. I feel like it's too thick. It almost looks like a Ghostbuster stream or just like some goo that he's shooting. I don't know what's going on. It's just a weird looking effect piece. It's not terrible, but I don't know. Just a little off to me. Not terrible, just a little off. But anyway, I think the gun looks good. I'm going to have to find a Target Master partner for him. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Fracas was one of the two that came in that Siege Skywarp 2-pack, if I'm not mistaken. I think one of them was Fracas, and I think the other one was the partner for Spinister. So I'll have to go back and look at that, but if I can find, and Fracas goes with him, I'll definitely hook him up with his Target Master partner, because he was a Target Master at one point. And speaking of Target Masters, here he is with Kingdom Cyclonus, and that just looks right. Those two look really great together. They did a really nice job there. Very happy with the two of them. It's kind of funny how they're both Voyagers, but Cyclonus looks a lot bigger. They just did a really nice job, and I'm really happy to have both of these guys. They look really good together. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the transformation. It's kind of shell formery like you might expect. So the first thing we're going to do, go ahead and push the feet together. They will clip into place. If you have the ankles tilted at all, you can straighten them out. The tiny little heels will flip in, and then the bigger heels will flip, well, I guess the toes will flip over top of that. Then, this part's a little difficult, but you can see that there's a seam right here, and you need to kind of pop this away from the body. You can see right like that. This is going to come down. Now there is a tiny little indentation for this nub on the side of his belt, and that's going to go in right there. And then this right here is going to tab in down here. So this is going to come down. Oh, I'm sorry, the nubbin actually is right there. That goes there, and then this pegs in like that. So you're just bringing the arms straight down. I just find that getting these away from the body is a little difficult, especially the first time. There we go. So that comes down, that fits into place. This will peg in to the side like that. So there you go. Now you have all that down there like so. You're going to come around to the back here. You're going to unhook those tabs I showed you earlier. So unhook that and kind of bring it down here to the side. At this point, you're going to flip this piece around 180. So flip that around like that. This is going to come up and peg onto that kind of right there. And then you're going to lift this up, and then this whole thing is going to accordion out, as you can see. So there are two tab slots right there. They're going to peg onto here and here. So you're going to bring this down. That's going to tab in like that. And then this is going to kind of straighten out. And then this is going to flip up and cover the face. And you can just kind of make sure that that all lines up like that. At that point, you're kind of almost done. You're going to flip this up. This is going to accordion out. You can see that there is this kind of T-peg right here. And then there's this clasp right there. So that's going to come down and fit over top of that. And then this piece is going to flip out and kind of just, you know, build that whole thing out. So you're going to come over here, flip this out. That T connection will hit there. That flips up. This flips out. And then you can see that hinge I showed you earlier. You're going to bend that back, and then it's going to just sit down, and all this stuff is just going to kind of pop right into place. This is going to peg together. And then make sure this is all on there where it goes. Should be no problem. And then you just close these up like that. And there you have the saucer mode. I never really understood what this vehicle mode was supposed to be. Obviously just something futuristic, but there you go. So the vehicle mode is pretty good. It's probably the best Scourge we've gotten. I mean, that gold box one that was the stealth bomber, to me, that wasn't really... It was an okay toy, but it wasn't really Scourge because it was a stealth bomber. You know, it wasn't this weird futuristic saucer thing that he's supposed to be. And the Titan's Return one was okay, but he had those weird shin pieces that kind of stuck out and protruded out the front of the vehicle mode, which I always thought looked weird. Now, this guy does have a little bit of kibbly stuff underneath here, but at least for the most part, it contours to the shape of the vehicle mode. It doesn't stick out. I would like it if it just kind of, you know, cut across here and it didn't have all this stuff hanging underneath. But if you kind of tilt it like this, you barely even see it. The Decepticon symbol on the top looks pretty good. You can attach that effect piece here to the front if you like. I still think it looks weird. You can attach the gun on the side. There's a peg. That's what that side peg on the gun is for. So there you go. You cannot attach the gun on the top. There's no peg hole for it there, which is interesting. You can attach the gun on this side if you want, but it would be upside down. But you can do it. And the feet do kind of stick out a little bit, but it's not too bad. I guess technically if you wanted to peg this in here, you could. I don't know why you'd want to, but you could. So, I think it's pretty good. Now, it does have this, it's this weird extra mode that it shows off. I'll show you how this works. So if you open this up, and this sometimes can be a little difficult to unpeg, but you have to kind of unclip these. Then you got to get the hinge rocking here. So it wants you to unhinge this and unhinge this. Then it wants you to open this up, unhook this from the back, flip this just up just a bit, close these back up like so. Close this back up, make sure all the panels and everything line back up, and then it wants you to bring this in, and you can see that there's tabs here and here. They're going to tab on the inside right there. So you just kind of lift this up a smidge and tab that in there like so. This is the other mode. Now, if you'll longtime fans of the movie, or actually I think I pegged this into the wrong section. It should be this section in the front here because it's a smaller section, so it pegs in. There we go. You can see that smaller section there. Anyway, long-term fans of the movie will remember after they are remade by Unicron and they deal with Starscream, they return to Earth to attack Autobot City, and Scourge's head somewhat pops up from the vehicle mode, and he asks Galvatron, "Do you want me to gut Ultra Magnus?" And you can recreate that scene here with this weird head raised out of the vehicle mode. It's weird. I think it's hilarious that the directions specifically call this out. But hey, it happened once in the movie and they want you to be able to recreate it. So there you go. So I think Scourge is a lot of fun. I definitely don't think he's perfect, but I feel like he's definitely the best Scourge we've ever gotten. Unfortunately, I think Scourge is just doomed to be a shell former because of his weird alt mode, and so they do the best they can with all that kibble on his back. Now, he does have the wings, so that does work out to some degree, and I think they've done a pretty good job here mitigating that kibble and making it actually look like wings instead of just a bunch of junk on his back, which a lot of previous releases have kind of had issue with. Um, like I said, I definitely think he's the best one we've gotten so far. He looks really good with Kingdom Cyclonus. I'm really happy they decided to give him to us. And like I said, if you really like this guy, go ahead and pick up a couple more, and you can have some of the sweep minions or lackeys, whatever you want to call them, his henchmen. So I think this guy's pretty cool. I definitely recommend picking him up. Like I said, definitely the best Scourge we've gotten so far. I don't know if they'll ever like 100% nail it. This may be the closest we ever come, to be quite honest, because I really do like the robot mode. I mean, he's got that high collar, the head sculpt's great, the arms and legs look perfect. He really does look very close to perfect as far as the robot mode goes. It's just those wings slash kibble that, you know, not 100%, but pretty good. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.